Hey, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism, here to talk to you more about the occult and the paranormal. Well, the subject of today's video is the power of Marie Laveau. Before we begin the video, just wanted to remind you that I am offering attunements in my attunement store on Etsy, so if you are interested in leveling up your life, crushing your goals, connecting with spirits, increasing your magical ability, then check that store out. In fact, I just released an attunement to the lady that we're going to be talking about today, Marie Laveau. So if you are interested in her specialties, which are resolving court cases in your favor, cursing, defensive magic, financial magic, love magic, all those sorts of things, or even starting your own spiritual business, then that attunement would probably be right for you. All right, so let's begin today's video. All right, so the year is 1830. A young woman is attending Mass at St. Louis Cathedral in the French Quarter, New Orleans, Louisiana. After Mass, she hurriedly goes to her residence because she is teaching a student on how to create a gree-gree. Now, this is no ordinary lady. This is Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans. Marie Catherine Laveau was born on 1801 in New Orleans, Louisiana. She was a free woman of color. She married Jacques Paris, and they lived together until his disappearance in 1824, a mysterious disappearance, in fact. She was a devout Catholic, and she integrated her Creole voodoo methods and her style along with her Catholicism. So when you look at her and what she did, she had kind of an eclectic blend of those two things. So she might do prayers and also do psalms, because the psalms can be used for magical purposes. She is reported through oral history, not necessarily written history, to have studied with Dr. John, who was also a very famous person in that area, voodooist, who taught her various things. He was a fortune teller, he was a magician, he was someone very schooled in voodoo. He was also called Bayou John. One of her major accomplishments, at least in my mind, is that she was really the first person to create I guess, a metaphysical business, or a business, a thriving big business, doing her work, doing her fortune telling, doing her magic, doing all the spiritual work that she was trained in. In fact, everyone, in her community, it didn't matter whether you were white, black, or any other ethnicity, politicians, attorneys, people that even had a lot of status would go to her because she was so powerful. And that was kind of unheard of at that time, due to, at that time, race relations in the institutions. People sought her out for amulets. They sought her out for court cases, relationship work, anything that you can imagine, employment type of stuff. In addition to all of that, she led voodoo ceremonies across New Orleans, Congo Square, Bayou St. John, many different areas which are now very popular tourist attractions because of this. And probably I would argue that because of the energy of that place that was marked by her work. Even in New Orleans, they have St. John's Eve, which is the holy day of New Orleans voodoo, which I actually have attended one time. And it was a really, really great experience, by the way. Laveau is buried at St. Louis Cemetery number 1. People actually go there to petition her for their desires. But apart from the magical stuff, she was an innately good person. She went and did her ministry uh, in prisons. She would help people with poverty. She would, give to the poor, really help her community. So in a way, she was almost like a social worker type of person in addition to her magic. And she was someone who worked hard because in the midst of all of that, she was a hairdresser. She did nursing. She did all of these different things. She really was someone who hustled to kind of to make a living and to help her community. So, uh, in addition to all of the reputation and myth of her as a extremely powerful magical worker, she was just someone who tried to help everybody. In fact, it is said that if you wanted to connect with Marie Laveau, is that one of the things that you do is you do a little bit of volunteer work. Give food to a food pantry, donate a little money to a cause. Now, as far as there are symbols associated with her, one is that she has the reputation of loving snakes, and she had a really long, really big snake. And also, she is associated with black cats. There's a story about some tourist who went and desecrated uh, her grave and actually took a piece of it, and that's a no-no in cemetery. So they took it home. They lived in another part of the nation, and all of a sudden they started seeing black cats, and they got a taste of some really, really bad luck. If you are interested in doing some magical work with her, some things to remember: that she likes coffee as offerings, candles, blue and white are her colors, the number 7, all of those things. So how is she seen as far as, her religion and everything? If she, in voodoo, she is considered, she's elevated to the status of a loa, even though she had a physical form at one point. She is also in Creole voodoo, I believe that she is seen as an elevated ancestor, somebody who has a really high status among the ancestors. And that is basically it. I wanted to just do a kind of brief snapshot of her life. There is much more to say, and I'm thinking about maybe putting another video on my Patreon to kind of talk a little bit more about that. And again, if you want to experience her energy, I have an attunement in my attunement store, so you can check that out. Let me know what you think. Provide comments. I'm certainly not an expert on Marie Laveau, but I wanted to share some information with you. And if you feel like there is something that needs to be corrected, I'd be willing to listen to that too in the comments section. So please subscribe and like, hit the notification bell to get future videos, and I will see you later. Have a good weekend.